Today's Stripe Show podcast is brought to you by About Golf Simulators. And we're back. Stripe Show podcast on a Tuesday. I'm your host, Travis Fulton. Thank you for tuning in, however you are. We're live on Twitter right now. We'll be downloading the podcast, of course, to all of our audio affiliates out there on YouTube, Travis Fulton Golf. Appreciate you being here. Big one today. Keith Stewart, our man, he's on site. Crisp blue sky in Las Vegas, Nevada. How you doing there, buddy?
Man, I tell you, it is crisp is a word. It is beautiful. It's no surprise why they come to Vegas this time of year. I mean, the weather is absolutely perfect. And the golf course looks even better than the weather, let me tell you.
Really?
Firm. Yeah. Oh, whew. I could have landed here last night. I mean, it's like the fairways are like runways. I mean, they are ready to roll. And I got to the media center early today to be ready for this with you. And the range was packed. Man, guys are excited. I think we saw it last week. I'm pretty fired up about this fall. I know they aren't the biggest names, but a 5-man playoff, that was just awesome golf last week. So,
gosh, look, we talked about Griffin right last week. He was one of my top 20 plays, and I did sprinkle a little on the win. It wasn't a lot, but man, that's
hard.
Man,
it's
really?
hard to win.
Bogey,
it's hard.
It is. 5-man playoff. There's Aberg. Like, where'd he come from? Like, the dude couldn't even putt, and he's in the playoff.
Sweden. That's where he came from.
Wow. He's good, isn't he? He's good. Ooh. I mean, he's special. Tee to green. He lost strokes putting, and there he is in the playoff. Yeah, 5-man. I agree. I'm kind of fired up here about this this fall season. It feels like they're kind of honing in on something here that feels right, what these guys are competing for. Of course, Aberg in the field again, and we'll get to the field in a second. I'm in a good mood though. Before we get too far here in TPC Summer, I got to tell you, yesterday we had one of the all-time greats in here, David Ledbetter, and we did our first in studio podcast, and we had a live audience, and it was really cool. Really, really cool that he drove up to do that. I've known him for a while, and can't wait to share that tomorrow on the podcast as we just geeked out on instruction. It was really cool. So can't wait to share that tomorrow on the podcast, and looking to get Como on as well. Chris Como, a friend of mine, wants to talk a little instruction as well. So we're looking to get him back on a Thursday. I was texting with Justin Parsons, another coach who works with Luke List. And of course, Luke got into the winner's circle yesterday. And I think, Luke List, look, he's one of those guys that kind of fits into that no putt category oftentimes, but he has been doing some good work, and some things are starting to turn around. But Luke List, Keith, just to kind of start there and put a bow on the tournament last week, from tee to green, well, I shouldn't say tee to green, ball striking, he might be the most underrated, right? When you start saying great ball strikers on the PGA Tour, like, his name doesn't get brought up, and if it does, it's usually kind of after the fact.
Yeah, I mean, pardon the pun, but that guy's a straight flusher. I mean, I'm out here in Vegas, and he absolutely flushes it, and it's a shame that he doesn't have any sort of that sense with the flat stick. But man, I tell you, one of my favorite wins we had 2022 was 90-1 shot at Farmers, wins the playoff over Zalatoris, Luke List. And I thought that would have been a little bit more of a launching pad, at least for confidence that he could break even with her. But it goes historically bad sometimes. And I walked by he worked with John Graham for a little bit. And I mean, he's really tried to confront that issue, but it just doesn't seem, it seems to baffle him. I don't know, but that guy, hey, congrats to him. He makes a big putt. That's been his peccadillo, and he's He's now an Augusta guy that's going to play Augusta. You know, you hate to be an Augusta resident and not be able to play the Masters. It's got to be a tough week for him. And now he's in with his win last week. So love it. Luke List, give us more. Love it. Great guy to root for.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. If he putts like that, he's going to win more. He is, like you said, he is a straight flusher. I remember when he won, it was the Farmers.
Yeah.
And it was in January of 2022. And I can remember he switched to Stephen Sweeney, and they were going through some major putting changes. I mean, he changed everything around, everything from his setup to the length of the backstroke relationship to the through stroke. And I liked it. I was kind of looking at it. I remember I was talking to Sweeney about it, and he came out and blitzed it and won. +4 at the Farmers, you know, his approach game on point, and he wins there. And then it just shit hit the fan. I mean, he just couldn't hit anything. Like the putting was awful. I mean, I'm looking at his stats right now. I mean, we're talking like a run of 15, 16, 17 tournaments in a row losing strokes in putting. And I'm talking like -4, -5, -6. I mean, bad putting. And we should have been out in front of this last week, because I tend to look at these little trends, and sure enough, a little bit of positive showing up in his putting at the Genesis, at Fortinet. We hadn't seen a whole lot of them. And he gets to Sanderson Farms and goes +6. So
look up Wilmington 2022, the BMW. Look up his strokes gained putting for that one.
-8.6. Yeah. Yeah. -7.1 at the Genesis. -6 at Arnold Palmer.
Yeah, it's tough.
-5 at Wells Fargo. I mean, it's nothing for him to go -5, -6, and all of a sudden, little green, boom, +6. He wins.
I mean, do people listening really understand how? I want to be nice here because he just won, and he's a great guy out here. Everybody loves him and roots for him with the flat stick. But like, it's so bad. It's like missing the hole from 4 feet. All like a lot. And
it's weird.
Yeah, it's well, it just goes to show you this game is very mental.
Yeah. All right, Shriners Hospital Open, Children's Open. It's actually called Shriners Children's Open now. They've had a couple different versions of it. In Vegas, we talked about TPC Sutherland, par 71, 7255. Been there, you're there. Tom Kim's the defending champ. Give us some insight here, Keith, on the golf course. You said it's firm, it's in great shape. How's this thing going to play?
Well, this is just a birdie fest. I mean, this is probably the biggest birdie fest on the PGA Tour. I think, in a 132-man field last year, 1,000 birdies. I mean, that's a lot, and it's one of those places where they give you a little bit more. They tend to give you a little bit more grass. The outside the landing area, you get to desert and you can't play from there. So these guys, they just let it rip. They bomb away.
HackMotion is an innovative wrist analysis sensor and app that measures players' wrist and hand movement in the golf swing. With audio feedback and different drill modes, it offers the capability to improve players' wrist mechanics in the golf swing to provide a better club face control and impact position. HackMotion can be used for both full swing and putting to cover all golf shots. HackMotion is used by some of the top golf coaches today around the world. Visit hackmotion.com. And the golf course, as he was mentioning, it's a birdie fest. I mean, they are going to there he is. He's back, folks. I was just filling the gap here, Keith, but what you're saying is it's a birdie fest. These guys are going to have a lot of approach shots from 100 to 150 yards, right? I mean, lots of wedges in nines, greens in regulation way up, bent grass greens that are perfect, not much rough. You better be tight in the proximity, and you better be making some putts.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the last 10 winners, and the guys, they're hitting their wedges close, and then they're making putts. You have to be you have to be a legit putter here. And what's interesting out in the desert, it's bent grass, and I know you just mentioned that, but it's worth repeating. I don't know how they do it out here, but these things, I mean, they look like a velvet rug. I mean, they look just perfect. And I'm not sure if it got cut off, but the landing areas, they have to give you a little bit more of a landing area off the tee, because once you get off the green stuff, it's desert. So as much as it might seem like the fairways are tight, there isn't any rough here. I mean, it's these guys, they just let it rip out here. We're at 2,000 feet above sea level, so you're going to get a little bit more carry. We're only at 7,200 yards. I think overall the stamp fits the same as the Sanderson. You're just going to have 10% more low scores, and you're putting on bent versus pure Bermuda all the time. Around the green does come into play here. There's a couple of really short holes where you got to be able to pitch it. The par fives, if you don't hit them in two, you got to be able to pitch it and chip it. You got some really tight lies. Around the green does correlate a little bit for a birdie fest, which is odd. It's one of the top 10 toughest places on the PGA Tour to play from around the greens. But overall, you need, 72 holes. You're going to need 32 to 36 birdie opportunities inside 25 feet. You're going to need to make 2/3 of those. That's the formula. That's how you get it done. That's 22, 23 under right there.
Yep. Yeah, the average score is 23 under in the last 5 years. You got Tom Kim, Sung J M, Martin Laird, Kevin Na, and Bryson DeChambeau. Minus 23 average. Wow. Cantlay's won here. Yep. Smiley Kaufman's won here. Gosh, right? Yeah. Smiley won here back in 15, 14, somewhere in there, I think. Yeah.
Wow. 15.
Wow.
Ben Martin.
Wow.
Webb Simpson. Come on. Martin Laird's won here twice. And Bright. So wait a second. We're talking about a golf course where Martin Laird wins and Kevin Na wins and Bryson DeChambeau wins.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
All right, let's get to the board. First look, first click is what we call it. First look, first click. What was the first thing that came to your mind? You want to start, or do you want me to start?
I'm in. Boom. Homeless Hubbard. First click. That's where I'm at.
Speaking of bogey in the last hole, he bogeyed the last two.
It's all right. First in the field last week, tee to green. First in the field approach. Bermuda bent is his best surface.
All right.
I mean, we're here. It's the fall. We're here to make some money. Let's go.
He's never won.
He's trending.
He's been out there for 8 years, I think. 8, 9 years now, too. Yeah. All right, first look, first click for me. I'm going Adam Schenk. All those Evansville, Indiana vibes last week, which a place I know well, Victoria National, on front and center, giving out all these cards last week. Guy that knows that course well is Adam Schenk, and he actually lives down now here in this area. Great guy. Comes into this tournament that he's played a few times, T12. I think he's got a, I can't even read my own writing, T10, T27, T18. Haven't seen him since the Tour champ. And let me remind you, everybody, what Adam Schenk finished at the Tour Championship, the PGA Tour Championship, not the one that was in Evansville, Indiana last week. The PGA Tour Championship, he finished 9th. The dude made some hay. He's rested. He's confident. He's playing good. He checks all of the boxes except proximity from 100 to 125. What the hell's going on there, Adam? But from 125 to 150, he's 34th. Opportunities gain, he's 51st. He's 26 in birdies. In approach game in the last 50 rounds in this field, he's 4th. And he knows how to handle bent grass greens, because up there in Victoria National, they're right on that line right there, and they have those big fans, and they grow those really nice big, so he gets it. It's a good spot for him. He comes in, he's kind of like, man, I'm kind of like the class. I haven't got a win yet, but I was 9th at the Tour champ. Anybody see that? What I was doing back in Atlanta at the end of last year? I'm rested. Here I go. Let's get a win, Adam Schenk.
In many ways, I love it, but I have one question, right? Because there's a couple guys that are like that had great finishes to their season, but we haven't seen them in like 6 weeks. Another name, that everyone's talking about this week. And if you got to roll the rock, this guy is the one to roll the rock. Put him on the craps table. He's going to throw those dice right where you want every time. JT Postman, the postman delivers, but we haven't seen him. We haven't seen these guys. And I just wonder, there has to be a little bit of rust. I mean, we saw it at the Ryder Cup on Friday morning. These guys take that much time off, and you've got guys like Luke List or Ludwig or Hubbard, or these guys, or Ben Griffin, these guys that were out last week just making a ton of birdies, seeing a ton of putts go in. Can Adam Schenk just show up and just start filling up the hole?
Yeah.
If he gets like 12, 13 holes behind, where he's only gone like 2 under, and he needs to be like 10
That's
under
true.
for his first, I just, that's why we kind of talked about this in the opening. We both like this fall setup because these guys seem motivated. Mm-hmm. They were motivated at the Fortinet. They were motivated last week. They seem motivated this week. It's none of the guys that don't wear hats or doing anything complaining or anything. I mean, we're talking about these guys are like getting out here and they're playing aggressive.
Yep.
And it's really fun to watch. Like I said, I walked by the range. I was here first thing this morning, and there's a ton of dudes out there hitting balls, right? Just striking it, like thinking to themselves, man, this is my Victoria National, right? This is this fall, because we're going to have 7 of them. We missed 2, so we're down to 5 of them. And a lot of these guys, who knows how much, they're not going to play in the Zozo. So now you're down to, 3 more? Bermuda, Mexico, and Sea Island. I mean, it's getting tight here for points. And that was my biggest question, because like JT Poston is just staring me in the face. He's just looking at me. And I mean, Adam Schenk to be number 9 at the Tour Championship is fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. But is well rested too rested.
Yeah. Well, God, we hadn't seen JT since the BMW.
Yeah. But look at the end of his year.
I know. Well, his iron game, something's up there. We talked about it. Yeah. We talked about it back in August. I said, something's going on with JT. Like, he has on a heater. His iron game is really improved. We know he can fill it up with the putter. That dude gets hot with the putter. He's unconscious. Like, that guy, that's the dude you want throwing craps. Like, he'll sit there and hit the number, like his putter, over and over again. 9, hit the point again. 10, 5, 4. He won't roll a 7 for a half hour.
I tell you, there's a lot of guys this year that I recorded swings while I'm out here. I recorded putting strokes. There's only 2 putting strokes that I kept on my phone that I didn't erase the video. One's JT and the other is Cam Smith. I'm telling you, that thing is so silky. And you got to fill it up this week. But I wonder about the time off thing.
Yeah,
versus
it's valid. It's a valid point.
Because you got to hit the ground running again.
Yeah, you got to hit the ground running. Yeah, that's true. And Schenk usually does, by the way.
Yeah, it's just been 5 weeks.
I know. All right. Well, let's touch base.
There's first click. There you go.
Let's touch base at 5 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, and we'll see where we're at. It'll be 2 o'clock. All right. Top of the board. Tom Kim, 12-1. There's our boy Aberg, 12. Cam Davis, interesting name, 20. Siwoo. Shanks all the way down to 30. I got him at 45, though. So he's been, apparently I'm not the only one betting him. JT Poston, 30. Eric Cole now all the way down to 35. He's going the other way. JJ Spawn, 35. Hoagie's 35. We'll stop there. That's kind of your top of the board. Anybody that you're kind of gravitating to, and then also anybody maybe that you're like, let's fade this week at the top.
I have two questions for you.
Oh boy.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with Oberg this week?
I like him. You know why?
Why?
Watch this. I like him. I mean, look at that. It's just butter. Watch this. Got to swing up for those listening. I mean, dude, you just watch that on repeat, and you just, I think you'd be a better golfer. I really do.
So there's So there's two names at the top that swing it like that. He's one. Cam Davis is the other one, right?
Yep.
The advantage of both of them driving the golf ball this week is Bryson Cantley like for this place.
Yeah.
You were saying earlier Ludwig wasn't great with the putter in Mississippi, but he was okay. He was okay. And Cam Davis made the transition from a strong end of the year to taking a bunch of weeks off and then going to the Fortinet and coming in top 5. So at the top of the board, those are the people that catch my attention. Just walking this golf course, it is so apparent that you could have such an extreme advantage with a lot of power off the tee and accuracy. And Ludwig's probably, he's a young Rory. He's the best driver of the golf ball under 25 years old. I mean, it's impressive to watch. It's a stripe show.
It is. And he just kind of felt like he was early in the week. I don't know. Like, I know he was there, but he was just kind of hanging. It just felt like he was hanging around and got into the playoff with his B game almost. Didn't it? Just felt like,
oh yeah,
kind of, he was, he was exhausted. I mean, I faded him for crying out loud coming off the Ryder Cup. Like, he's going to get off to a kind of a lukewarm start like he did. And then, he's not going to have the energy to get there. And what did he do? He just turned it on. And all of a sudden there he is. He's in the playoff to win this thing. So he's got to be, his confidence has to be through the roof. So, here's a place that he's going to like. I think if you had to pick him apart, his weakness probably would be his approach wedge play. I mean, that's probably his weakness right now. And so you could kind of rely on that, but overall approach game, he's in the top 2 or 3 here this week. His driving is so good. So yeah, I to answer your question, I like Aberg, but I am kind of intrigued by Cam Davis. I just get the sense Cam Davis, we've talked a lot about him, and I just get the sense that he's coming, like he's an impressive player. I think he's got a very high ceiling. We haven't seen him since the Fortinet where he was 3rd, but he was really superb. I mean, he finished up last year pretty darn good, made it to the BMW where he finished 40th. He didn't make the Tour Championship where his putter was really cold at the BMW, but you just look at the way he drives the ball, his iron game, his short game is stellar. He's not a bad putter, but he's not a great putter. But I think he'll certainly pop. How's his splits? That was one thing. Yeah, his splits. I thought so. His splits bent definitely is his best, by the way.
Yes,
like by a long way. So I think if I had to lean up there with Aberg, I'm kind of high on Cam Davis too. But I'm kind of a homer that way too. I tend to. I'm selling him a lot here. I'm not selling him. I'm selling as into the audience. Like, I like this guy. He's coming. I feel like he's bubbling up. This is a guy that feels like he's going to win this fall.
I think he's going to I think he's going to raise his level.
Mm-hmm. That's what it feels
To close the book on Ludwig, I think spending a week with Victor Hovland while he's the best golfer in the world
good point.
At that age rubbed off on him. I wouldn't go too deep on Oberg when it comes to the stats because, he was at Texas Tech 6 months ago. So, I mean, just watch what this kid's doing. He is talented. And
he is. He's different. He's different.
Yeah. So at the top of the board for me,
any fades? So you're saying, not to interrupt you, were saying Aberg at the top. Sounds like is where you're going.
Aberg and Davis. Yeah.
Okay, so we're on the same page there. That's a first.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not picking Schenk because of the layoff.
Well, he's at the top now, but he wasn't when I picked him. Now it's like, come on, really? 30? I mean, I don't know if you fade Cole? You feeling Cole is all over the place with his driver last week.
I mean, I'm going to fade Kim. Let's just start there with the favorite.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I just don't. No.
Interesting.
I mean, there's a lot of this. there's like little cells on everyone. Oh, Siwoo Kim can get hot. I mean, like you've
Yeah.
got to go. You've got to go like nuclear at this place, right? I mean, 2,000 birdies in a field. We're not talking about a field of 156, Trav. We're talking about a field of 132, and that's so many birdies. And I think at the top, under 30, that's where my head's at. You know, we start to get in that 30 where we see Schenk and Poston, and we see Hadwin, you know, the Desert Fox. You know, now we start to have some conversations about value and the guys that, you know, definitely catch my attention more. But at the top of the board, I just think, you know, a guy like Tom Kim taking so much time off, jumping back into this, it's tough. You got to remember last year, it was 2 weeks prior, he came off the adrenaline rush of the President's Cup and everybody's story. And then, you know, that guy hasn't, I mean, we know they're world class, but like picking winners is splitting hairs. And if these guys have been on the sidelines just watching, I get that they're itching to go, but you don't make 5 birdies in your first 9 holes on Thursday and you start pressing. And next thing you know, you shoot 2 or 3 under when the leader's 7, 8, 9, whatever it is. And then now you're like, whoa, what am I doing? Blah, blah, blah. You start questioning your nutrition and everything. And you're just like, you're losing your mind, you know? And
well, so let me add to that. Okay. Cause I want to do a little last 50 rounds. Okay. I think the audience likes this when we get into the field and we go last 50 rounds.
Yep.
And we go birdies, last 50 rounds. Who's made the most birdies? Eric Cole. All right. That's number one. Now Eric Cole was all over the place off the tee last week. His driver was a mess. So where are we at with that this week? I wasn't on Eric Cole last week. I'm pushing back again this week. Cameron Davis is number 2 in birdies, last 50 rounds. Dylan Wu is 3. No surprise. We talk about the Wu brothers, how many birdies they make.
Yeah,
Tom Kim's 4. Tom Kim's 4.
Griot's
well, 5.
He had a good July.
Yeah.
Tom Kim, you know, he was strong.
Yeah, this is a little skewed, right? Because you have guys. This one's a little skewed because you have guys that haven't played in a while. So,
but that's July.
I know. You know, because you go down to like Griot's 5, Svensson 6, Hogard, Nikolai 7, Ludwig's 8. You know, the thing about Aberg is he gets a ton of great looks and he makes them. Ryder's 10. My boy Ryder kind of fizzled after a good start last week. Yeah. You know, let's go to the approach real quick. Last 50 rounds. There's your boy Hubbard 1. Reeve 2. Guess who's number 4? Adam Schenk. Oh my God, Alex Smalley's 3. We're gonna have this conversation again, aren't we?
No, we're not.
Aaron Rice 5. Andrew Putnam 6. Kevin Roy is 7.
Yeah.
Cole's 8. Ryder's 9.
But you're doing 50 rounds. That could be Kevin Roy.
Yeah, I know.
When he, you know, back around the time of 3M. Yeah, that was July. Those numbers are coming from July.
So it's
Mark Hubbard's are coming from last week.
It's a little skewed when you look at it. I think the last 50. So you can't. It's interesting to look like recent last 24. I like to look out to like a last 100 and just kind of see, you know, a wider lens look, but then also a closer lens look. All right. Well, I'm going to fade Cole up top. I tend to agree with your assessment of, I guess, Kim. But I do like Aberg and Kim at the top. All right, it's getting in the middle now. So this is where we had some fun with this last week. There's some interesting names in here, starting with Vincent Norman. Are you on board with Vincent, say, for a top 20 or maybe even a win? He's 40 to 1 right now. He's been bet down.
Ball striking's there. Putter's probably in the bottom half of this field. He's definitely a guy that has played in September. So he's not going to win, but he could. You pique my interest on a placement there for sure.
Okay.
He, you know, one of the things that he's totally underrated for is he's a good wedge player, but he puts the ball in play off the tee.
Mm-hmm.
And when he does miss the fairway, he only misses it by a little bit. So he's going to keep it on the drone footage. He's going to keep it on the green areas. He's not going out to the sandy areas. But he's just got to make a jump with the putter. So as far as winning, I would sell.
One of the guys we talked about last week that we both kind of moved in there in the top 20 was Davis Thompson, and he finished 16th last week. Davis seems to be getting a little more comfortable and confident in what's going on out there. I think Davis is another high ceiling kind of player. Second year now out of Georgia. Very quiet kid. I remember I did a thing with him for the cut, and my God, I thought we almost got to the point where I was asking the question and answering it. It was just, trying to get him to open up, but he's a great driver of the ball. His iron game seems to be settling in. Question is, can he make enough putts there? Do we venture for another top 20 like we did last week with Thompson? And we hit it last week.
Well, of the two Thompsons this week, I definitely like Davis more.
Okay.
Did you get that?
Of the two yeah, I do now. Yeah.
Okay.
I was getting to the other Thompson.
Yes. I'm going to go.
Yes.
I'm very much in the Davis Thompson camp right now. And you know that after Lucas burned me 3M to Wyndham, there's always somebody on my card that I carry over from last week. And I think Davis Thompson's that guy because the putter is really good. The driver is really good. And
it is.
We're hitting wedges here, So I think that and he showed me enough last week for sure. Gaining across the board, very strong. It's just I think this kid he's super, super talented. He was so good in college. And it just like Scotty Scheffler, it took him 72 events to win. It's like it takes time to figure these things out for these guys. And I think that I do like Davis Thompson this week, and I'm buying on him for sure.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm big on him, and I spent more time looking at him after last week's show, and that top 20 was a good one. I need you to put some respect on this man's name right now. Okay, see this guy Ben Griffin here, because I was trying to sell you on him last week, and you were like, "Nah, I'm good. I said, "No, top 20." I said he's got a nice little short game. It's improving. And man, the dude comes out. His iron game was like he careered it with his irons, and he made positive 8.5 with this putting. So that's likely not going to happen again. I just wanted to put that out there. I'm not going to bet him, but I just wanted to remind you that I was all over him last week and made some nice money on him.
He's definitely one of those guys. He spends a lot of time on social media promoting himself and the tour and everything, and he's somebody you could root for. But man, you want to talk about a guy who looked like a deer in headlights? I mean, other than Adam Schenk at the Valspar, I would say that Ben Griffin at the Sanderson looked like a deer in headlights on that 72nd hole. And if you're live betting at that point, you're thinking, "Ooh, baby, I'll go against this guy."
All right, let's get into some buy or sell top 20. Some guys that have played pretty well here. Naismith had his head above water slightly last week. Matthew Naismith sighting. This guy in this field over the last 4 rounds, no one has played it better. 4 top 20s. Matthew Naismith, buy or sell. Again, top 20. Attention golfers, if you're looking to upgrade your game with a set of high-quality clubs that are blazing fast, beyond forgiving, and beautifully made, check out the all-new PXG Gen 6 golf clubs. Not only are they easy to hit, they deliver outstanding distance and incredible accuracy, lowering your scores and bringing you more fun on the golf course. What more could you want? Schedule your Gen 6 fitting today at pxg.com or by calling 844-PLAY-PXG.
I mean, people could point towards. I mean,
that's kind of how I was when I'm going to sell for the record, and that's hard for me to say because I love Naismith.
I'm selling, but someone could come back at me and say, well, this was the time of year last year we had 3 top 10s in a row, and they would be right. But, last year he gained I don't know, it was 7 on approach here. And, that's that. No, sell, move on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You've got, let me throw this name at you.
Here we go.
Harry Hall, top 20.
Well, it's funny you should bring that up because
T15, T8, the guy can putt lights out. He's from Vegas, went to UNLV. I mean, come on.
The guy,
are you going to go top 20, Harry Hall? You're going to do it, aren't you?
I would definitely go top 40.
Okay.
That may not be enough risk reward for you. Top 20. I mean, if you look at what Harry Hall's been up to, it's been not great since his third place at Colonial at the Charles Schwab. So I'm easily talked into a top 40, but you're saying top 20 or anything better. I'm selling.
Yeah, I'm selling. I don't like
good
DraftKings
play. In the sixes, he's probably a reliable 6K guy at DraftKings. So there's that.
Harry gets down, man. He looks like he gets down on himself, and he's just about ready to light his bag on fire. He just get him out of that funk mentally and bounce back. Harry, I feel like needs a little more of a bounce back button.
Yeah.
That needs to be immediate, not 9 holes later.
It's tough to ride that emotional roller coaster. All right, who you get next? Come on.
Let's go. Any interest in Hayden Buckley?
No. Nope.
Tom Hoagie?
No. But if we're gonna go around that range, I do have interest in Adam Svensson.
I knew that was coming. I had that on the list. I knew that was coming. You love Svensson. Man, you love him.
Well, at certain places.
Okay.
This is one of those places. He just fits, and he's been playing very well. He won last fall.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, I don't know what it is about time of year, horses for courses and everything, but it all happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And the trends, you want to go 100 holes out or 100 rounds out and everything. I mean, Svensson's trending back up again towards where he played well at Sea Island. Right around that ballpark of 40-1, you're going to get a nice positive number for a top 20.
Like it.
It's a guy.
I like it. I'm in.
Yeah. I mean,
Zednut. Zednut seems to be kind of snapping into a little bit of form here.
Good wedge player.
He is a very good wedge player. That's where I was. My computer is a little slow here as I pull up his stats, but I was looking at him, and you start looking at 100, 125. I think he did kind of make some tinkering there this summer with the swing. Had a little run of missed cuts there, 4 or 5 of them over a 6-7 week span. And Sanderson Farms, he looked good. His driver was okay. His approach game was good. His putting was, we know he can putt. I don't know. I think Bezuidenhout's coming on is on the upswing here. And I love what you said about Svensson, and I'll bet him top 20, and I'll add Bezuidenhout to it.
All right. How about you got any lefties on that buy sell board?
Any lefties? Well, we had one last week, and I don't think he made it, and that was Batia. Are we going back to the well with him again?
Nope. I'm going to go South African since you were just with Bezuidenhout.
Okay.
And you want to talk about a guy that can go nuclear low. That is Garrick Higo.
Okay.
Right? And
50-1 right now.
Yep. Driver's good. Overall, when you look at him, the wedge is pretty good. Puts the ball in play. Great putter. Makes tons and tons of birdies. And he makes a ton of birdies on par 4s. And we only get 3 par 5s this week. So if you're looking for a guy that can score, especially on these par fours that are all going to be between 400 and 450 yards. The guy just has the game to do it. And it's if you start
really good.
Go ahead.
What'd you
I was teasing you for the next one.
Anyway, Higo, I'm buying on him inside top 20 and more for sure.
Does he make more birdies than this guy? Justin Suh?
Really good.
That's a Vegas guy there, right?
I mean, right, that's Justin Suh plays Summerlin more than anybody probably in this.
Really good.
He's a member out here.
He is, yeah.
He fills up the cup, you know.
I don't know. I think I'm going to pass. I think I'm going to pass on Suh this week. That's hard for me to say, too.
Higo Suh head to head. I might take Higo.
Yeah.
Higo's putter was good last week.
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting one. That is not one that. I think it might be a good call there. Higo. It might be a really good call here this week. All right, here now we're getting into the long shots, and let's see if we can finish the show here with a bomber. All right, here's one that here I want to stay with UNLV roots, and this is more just for I guess some kind of intervention play of some sorts to one of the teachers that's out there listening right now. I need you to get a hold of this guy, and I need you to turn him into a better ball striker for me. Okay. Because I love Taylor Montgomery. I love what he does with length. I love his putter, but his iron game, his ball striking is not good enough. And he's not going to make it on the PGA Tour unless he improves this part of the game. Someone grab him, tighten it up, get that left arm moving with the chest and exiting a little better to the left, less club face flip. We need to get Montgomery, Keith, in better form from a ball striking standpoint, because he's a cool guy, and he's from Vegas with UNLV. He bombs it. It's just not tight enough when it comes to the swing. So anyway, that's a little push out
PSA?
there for Come on.
Little PSA. I like it. I'm not
betting him as a long shot this week, but there he is at 90. Now we're into let me see. Let me just see if I can guess where you might go.
Oh, come on. It's just staring at you. It's right there.
Is it it's not the other Thompson, is it?
No. We can talk about that just for a second.
You're not going back with MJ again, are you?
No, but
okay.
The Lexi thing is, this would be a good place for her or Nelly or one of the better ball strikers that's long on the LPGA to come and try and make a cut, play the weekend, promote their tour. I just wonder about the timing with Lexi, because she's had her worst career year ever. But at 7,200 yards, 2,000 feet above sea level, this place is going to play under 7,000. And, she's been good. Like her only category she's been good at this year is putting. 12 events, missed 8 cuts.
Yep.
Her stroke average is over par. I mean, it's bad. I just wonder about the timing of all this, but I do think it's a good spot for it to happen again at another point. But
good point.
And it's great for the game. I'm all for Lexi versus Marty Fish or Tony Romo playing, and sponsors putting that, kind of marketing strategy together. It's cool, but there's 10 cents on Lexi. But
hit me with
I got
it.
A guy, Troy Merritt.
Yeah. I like that one a lot too. Yep.
He's sitting there at 110.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you go like last 24 rounds, this guy is number 1 tee to green.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 tee to green. He's got the short game. All the question marks surround the putter. Well, my friend, let me just take you to Jackson, Mississippi. Okay. Plus a stroke and a half with the flat stick last week. Okay. Top top 20 strokes gained putting for the week. Just really, really solid there. Where did Troy Merritt win? Another birdie fest, right? So if you want to go that far down, and this place has had, 5 long shots in the last 10 years. I mean, guys over 225 to 1. You start talking about Smiley. You start talking about Rod Pampling. We're talking about Rod Pampling.
Yeah,
we're talking about
didn't Pampling held off like Koepka, and didn't he? He had a bunch. There was that year was an incredible field.
Martin Laird the second time, right? Ben Martin. There's all these Martins. They're coming in at like 250 to 1. But
I like that pick a lot.
I mean, it's definitely I think you get a nice little number on a Troy Merritt top 10 or even a top 20. And
Michael Kim seems to be kind of rating out decent here. Am I seeing that right? Michael Kim? I know he hasn't played a lot, but as I look at the model, he's at 125, and I see his name kind of popping up a little bit as someone to take a look at. That might be a little skewed too, based off of that he hasn't played a whole lot.
I mean,
gosh,
if you want to go for a Kim this week, you got to. I mean, Siwoo's got to lead the way, and probably the second one is SH Kim. Yeah. Especially since SH has been playing, and he played good last fall too. So coming off Corn Ferry.
All right. Any other names there that worth mentioning that you've got written down? I know that you got some more work to do before you put out your official stuff on Read the Line, but it's good. We cover some ground here. I like this. I like this event. I like this field. I like I like this Davis Thompson and what I'm seeing. I like this Cam Davis and what I'm seeing. I think Shank is kind of my first look. A little bit of a reach, perhaps. Never won, but again, 9th at the Tour Championship. I think my mind's kind of gravitating into the middle of the board as a Bezuidenhout top 20, Svensson top 20. I got to look at. I don't think I'll bet this week in a top 20. The other name that's staring at my face, and I do this all the time, and I'll finish with this is, I'll promote someone and build them up and stay with them, like a Sam Ryder, like I did last week. And then the minute I come off him, you watch Sam Ryder. You watch this week. I'm not betting. I'm just saying. I'm not betting. I'm just saying, like, I'm coming off of him this week because I really liked him last week. But if he's there, like, one back going in the Sunday, I mean, it's like, it just haunts me.
I'll be texting you.
I know you will. I know you will.
We glanced over it early, but Adam Hadwin, guy plays.
Yeah, he's done well here. Yep.
Amex,
yep.
WMPO, and here. For some reason, that guy plays good in the desert. Doesn't matter what the green surface is. He plays good in the desert. So definitely an Adam. I know you have an Adam, but he's definitely a guy that he just shows up at these places.
Well, and let's go last 5 rounds. Most strokes gained. We talked about Naismith, Hadwin's 2. Laird's 3, Shank is 4, Webb Simpson, Siwoo Kim, Chesson Hadley, Putnam, Ryder, Kim, Hall, Moore, Hoagie. I feel like we're gonna see Hoagie's name here soon again. I feel like it's coming again, where he's gonna light fire. All right, good show. That's it. That's enough. So are you gonna what? So tonight, are you? Is it dice? Is it cards? Is it machine or horses?
Well, be that as it may, the largest North American gaming and gambling conference is also this week in Vegas.
Oh wow!
So there's a little party to go to tonight. So okay. Being hosted by one of the larger companies. So we're gonna go have some. We'll have some fun.
I love that. Text me if you run out of money. I'll wire you some cash to get you through.
I got I saved up plenty from that my LPGA win 2 weeks ago. 2,500, baby. Oh
there
yeah,
you go.
plus 2,500. You gotta love it. Yeah. So.
All right, Keith Stewart live from Vegas, Ledbetter tomorrow on the Stripe Show. See you next time.
Peace.
Nice.